Hey, Rene Garcia with Games Gear Tech, and today I wanted to put together a follow-up video on my unboxing and first impressions of the Herman Miller Aeron Gaming Edition chair that I released back in August. I've actually filmed this video once before, about a week ago, but wasn't very happy with the way it turned out, mainly because my thoughts were pretty scattered and jumbled, and I wanted to put together something a little more coherent for you. So, take two. But maybe there's some footage that I can salvage, and perhaps I can insert that here as some B-roll. Anyway, let's get into what I liked about the chair, or what I do like about the chair that I'm sitting in right now. First of all, and I think this is the biggest factor for me, is that it fits my body well. Of all the chairs that I've sat in, this one accommodates my body the best. I have not sat in every chair in the world, obviously. There might be another chair out there that fits me better, or maybe at the same level, but at a lower price point. But what I've experienced so far with this chair, I think is good enough for me to stop searching, at least for the foreseeable future. The fit and finish of the chair is excellent, probably the best I've experienced in this type of chair. Nothing wobbles, nothing feels loose, nothing creaks. It's just a well put together chair. I also really like the armrests. They're very plush, and they're probably the most comfortable armrests I've ever experienced in, again, this kind of office chair. Now, I know that seems like a small thing, but it's the small things that add up that really create a premium experience and help to differentiate a chair as a luxury chair as opposed to every other kind of chair. So those are the three things that stand out to me to call out as something I liked. I mean, the chair, there are a lot of things about the chair that are just good and solid, but nothing that I feel like is really worth mentioning. So let's move on to the things that I don't like, or things that have disappointed me, I guess, is probably the more accurate way to describe it. Now, a couple of these things are maybe unfair to bring up, mainly because I knew the chair was like this before buying the chair, but I'll talk about them anyway. So number one is that the chair doesn't come with a headrest, and it's not even a standard option. You can't like customize the chair to come with a headrest from the Herman Miller website. I personally like to recline and contemplate the bad decisions I've made in my life, and so I think a headrest is necessary if you're going to be in a reclined position for an extended period, because I've made a lot of bad decisions. And it just seems like a bizarre decision for Herman Miller to omit headrests, even just as an option, considering that there are aftermarket companies. They've created a viable business based on offering a headrest specifically for this chair. I just can't help but feel that Herman Miller is leaving money on the table. So the reason I thought it was important to bring up that a headrest doesn't come with the chair is that getting this headrest, this is an Atlas headrest, it adds another roughly $200 to an already expensive price tag. All right. I wish the armrests remained level when you recline. So the armrests are attached to the seat back, and so what that means is as the seat back reclines, the armrests are also going to be, perpendicular, which means that as you're reclining, your arms are going to be, kind of at an upward angle, right? And so, it's just not comfortable for extended periods because you're going to start losing blood to your hands, and your fingers are going to get numb. Not what you want to experience as you're, again, reclining for a while. again, it's a small thing to complain about that, but at this price point, you expect that every position you're going to be in is going to be just 100% comfortable, or at the very least, that the manufacturer is going to account for what your experience is going to be like in that position. And it's just unfortunate that the armrests weren't designed to just, stay level regardless of what position the seat back is in. Maybe in a new version of the Aeron, maybe they'll address that. I wish the chair came in the A size. And to take a step back, Herman Miller offers the Aeron in 3 sizes, which is A, B, and C in increasing order of size. So A is the smallest, C is the biggest, and it's meant those sizes are meant to accommodate different heights and weights. The gaming edition only comes in B and C sizes. Now, according to the website, they recommend the B size for people who are, I think it's 5'4" to 5'8". Let me see here. Maybe I can just scroll through the website that I'm on as the background and see what it says here. What do they have something here? Well, darn. I know it's on here somewhere. All right. Well, regardless, let's get back to this nice video. All right. So A, B, and C. I think the B size it's meant for people who are 5'4" to 5'9", or I don't know, maybe even 6 feet tall. I can't remember. Nevertheless, when I looked at it, my height, which is 5'6" and a half, fits I'm recommended the B size. So I thought, well, it didn't matter that the gaming edition didn't come in the A size because the B would be perfect for me. It turns out that the B size is still just a little too tall for me. So when I'm sitting in the chair with my boots on, it's fine. It's perfect. Like, best chair I've ever sat in. If I'm sitting in the chair barefoot, then my feet are still flat on the ground, but my thighs just aren't as propped up as they need to be, and that creates extra pressure on the back of my legs. And after a while, it just starts to fatigue your legs. Like you start to feel the wear and tear of the chair on your body. So I know a footrest would resolve this. And I do have a footrest, but, that's just, one more thing to kick under your desk. And, I like to be able to just move around without having to worry about, something under there that is going to interfere with my feet. So on a side note, I got the gaming edition because I wanted a black chair. And I bought this chair in August. And I come to find out that Herman Miller ended up offering a black non-gaming Aeron in September, so the following month after I bought this chair. And that non-gaming version, you can get it in the A size, which I think would have been more appropriate for me. Another thing that disappoints me is that you have to sit in the chair a certain way to feel the best. And what I mean by that is that when I'm sitting in the chair upright and fully back in the seat, I feel great. Like the chair is supporting me in every way that I need it to support me. I can essentially forget about the chair. But as the day goes on and, as I get tired and I start slouching a little bit and I take my body out of that optimal sitting position, then the chair starts to feel uncomfortable. So all of that is to say that this is not the best chair for lounging around in for extended periods. Let's talk about the Pelican Mesh. I think that it is too smooth. Depending on what you're wearing, you will slide in the chair. And what I mean by that is that you're not going to slide out of the chair. It's not slippery necessarily. But you will, again, depending on what you're wearing, you will slip out of that optimal sitting position. So to counter that effect, speaking for myself only, I have to tense my legs and kind of push back on my heels to maintain that optimal sitting stance. But then, after doing that for even just a few minutes, you really start to feel the chair again and take notice of the chair, and you're just fighting the chair at that point. So what I've resorted to do is, or what I've resorted to doing is just putting down a towel and sitting on the towel. And yeah, I feel a little foolish. I feel very foolish for essentially reupholstering a $1,500 chair with a $10 towel. But, most of the time I just want a quick solution so I can get back to work or get back to my game and, again, forget about the chair. I also wish the mesh was black, and this is going to require a little more setup to explain. But when I was looking at the marketing product shots of the chair on the website, in fact, I think I can probably just go there now. Here, let's go down to the actual gaming edition pages here. All right. So, can I zoom in? There we are. Oh, let me get rid of me. Boom. There we go. So, looking at the chair, it's very black, right? Let me just flip through some of these shots. And this shot in particular. I mean, that mesh is very dark. And I bought the chair with the expectation that I would receive this colored mesh. But in reality, the mesh is actually kind of, I don't know, mid-tone gray, darkish gray. I don't know how to describe it, but it's definitely not this black. I thought I might have had a production issue. Some kind of, like they gave me the wrong mesh. But since I bought the headrest from a third party, and they said that this headrest was for this chair, and the mesh matches perfectly, I just assumed they lied. I just assumed that Herman Miller lied to me with the product shots. But I come to find out that Herman Miller discontinued my version of the gaming edition chair during the month that I bought the chair. And then they released the new version that has a black mesh the very next month. And that is a bummer. This next thing might be something peculiar to my particular chair. I'm not sure. Maybe it's the way I'm sitting in it, but the base of the chair will spin counterclockwise whenever I roll forward in the chair. When I'm sitting in the chair, I'm not always at my desk. And sometimes I have to roll around to reach for something else or throw something away. Or sometimes I just have to get up to use the restroom. And when I sit back in the chair, of course, I'm pulling myself closer to the desk. The base of the chair, the spokes, will spin counterclockwise and they will hit my feet as they're spinning. I know it's a small thing, but it's also very annoying. And so, once again, just want to bring it up in case someone else is experiencing this, or if this is something that's common to these chairs. You should know before you buy. So that's the last of my disappointments, my criticisms of the chair. I do want to answer the question, is it worth it? And I guess what that means is it worth spending what you have to spend to get this chair? I've been thinking about this question for a little bit and how I would answer it, and my mealy-mouthed response is it depends. And I can't answer that question for you. Really I can only answer it for me because, personal comfort it's a personal thing, right? Like what I find comfortable, you may not. Or what I find uncomfortable, you may find luxurious. Who knows? But I want to give you a couple of ways to think about the chair and its price tag. When I was thinking about this question, I thought back to or rather I thought of all the times I've flown domestically on a commercial airline. Not that I've ever flown private, so I have nothing to compare it to. But every time I've flown domestically, I've always sat in coach. And, sitting in coach is, it's just a terrible experience. I think we all can agree, those of us who have flown. The seats are, they are technically chairs because they're shaped like a chair, but it's not a chair you would ever want to actually sit in, right? Like the electric chair, the chair that they use to execute people is also technically a chair, but it's also another chair you probably would never want to sit in. And I know that there is a first class option, right? And I know I could pay first class prices to sit in those chairs, but I also know that the flight is only, typically like 3 to 5 hours, and I'm not going to pay first class prices for a 3 to 5 hour experience. But what if the flight were to last 6 years? Suddenly, an exorbitant expense turns into a wise investment into your health, into your productivity, into your overall enjoyment of life. And I know that last one might be kind of overstating things or maybe exaggerating things. But, if you're like me, I sit in this chair 8 to 12 hours a day. I work from home. I'm also a gamer, and I'm a sometime YouTuber, so I have to sit here and edit and also record, do 1,000 takes. So, this chair really needs to be comfortable. It needs to almost be an extension of my body. And so knowing that, maybe that helps justify or rationalize the price to you. Now, with the plane example, it's, I think the decision making is, it's pretty clear because it's easy to see the differences between a first class seat and a coach seat, right? Like there are just quantifiable differences that, signal to us one chair is going to be more comfortable over the other. I think things get harder, or decision making gets cloudier when it's difficult to discern the differences between two chairs, except for their price. So, as an example, before getting the Aeron, I went with the Autonomous Ergo Pro, and that chair, I think I got it for about $350. I can't remember which site I bought it off of, but I didn't get it at full price. Anyway, I paid about $350 for it. I sat in it for about a week before making the decision to buy this chair. And, this chair by itself, I paid about $1,550. And that's without the headrest, so add another $200 on top. That makes this chair, the Aeron, roughly 5 times as much as the Ergo Pro. Now, can I say that the Aeron is 5 times as comfortable, or that the quality is 5 times better than the Ergo Pro? No, I don't think I can say that. But when I was thinking about it, maybe the price to value, whatever value you're looking for, whether it's comfort or quality or whatever it is, right? Maybe the ratio isn't 1-to-1, right? As price goes up, maybe you don't get exactly the same amount of value out of the chair. Maybe instead of 1-to-1, it's like 1 to 0.25. So if you wanted to get twice as much quality as compared to another chair, maybe you had to pay 4 times as much, right? And the more quality you're trying to get, the more the price exponentially scales. I don't know. I don't even know if I did the math right there. And maybe, I'm starting to sound like I'm just trying to rationalize paying this much for a chair. So, look, maybe that works for you, maybe it doesn't. I will say, let me just wrap up the video by giving you my final opinion of the chair. Ultimately, I am content with my purchase. I think that all of the issues I raised earlier, and I know that there were a lot more of them than compliments, but altogether, they do not overshadow what I needed the chair to do, which is fit my body. For the most part, I can use the chair all day and completely forget about it, which is probably the best thing you can say about any chair. This chair is far from perfect, and I think the list of criticisms I had earlier obviously prove that, but I also think that achieving perfection is a foolish goal at any price point. So, those are my updated impressions and opinions on the Herman Miller Aeron Gaming Edition chair. Do you agree with what I've said? Do you disagree? Did I help you make a decision? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you next time.